Hi, my name's Doug Motes, and I live in Old Oaks, which is just immediately south of Old Town East. I've lived there for 5 years. Just history, my grandfather lived in Old Town East at 18th and Oak, and my great-uncle lived in Old Oaks at Newberry, at a part of Newberry where the freeway is now. So I feel very much like that's my heritage as well. I've lived in Columbus all of my life. I know my neighbors. I know Joyce, who lives right next door to me, and I participate in her African market. I know Mrs. Patterson across the way from me, too, who has a lot of issues that she has to contend with. 2 doors up from Mrs. Patterson is Dr. Freddie Jordan, who is a professor here at Ohio State University at the Dental College, and she's a single African-American woman raising 2 wonderful daughters. I also know Mrs. Elsie Slyby, who lives just down the way as well. She's lived in my neighborhood since the 1960s. Her house is amazing, and I was there to comfort her when arsonists took out her garage just this past summer. Tuesday night, I was assaulted outside of my house by one of Mrs. Patterson's grandchildren. Someone from City Code had come to her house and was asking them about some improvements that they were doing to the home. There was a handicapped ramp. One of the residents of Miss Patterson's home, Junior, needs that. And apparently there was some type of construction going on where they were putting up something else. I got out of my car, and the resident of the house just kept asking me, "Why'd you call city on me? Why'd you call the city on my grandmother?" I did no such thing. I go up and down that street, and I deliver the newsletters for our civic association. I've been involved with that. I let people know when the breast cancer screenings are at St. John's Community Center. I go and knock on doors to let people know when tax time is around and how they can find out about getting their taxes done. I go door to door and I tell my neighbors about predatory lenders and to not let them do that. I participate and I try to give back to the best of my ability to my community. I'm a gay man. I've had a loving partner for 5 years. I have every right to be in my community and in my home as anyone else does. I do what I can to keep my house up. I'm not a trust fund baby. We both work very hard, and we both do our best to give back to our community and to be good neighbors and to be good citizens. What I've not heard or what I've not had happen to me is any of the folks in my neighborhood when I moved in came to me. I've gone out to everyone, and I know everyone, and I participate in their lives. And I think that that's what it takes, is just getting to know all the people and doing what you can to be a good person, a good neighbor, to be decent, and to live your life to the best of your ability.
I'm coming. I'm going to ask you a question, though, and I'm not asking you. I'm asking you as an individual, because you got to ask the question to an individual, because you can't ask it to a group, you know? And I'm not putting you down for it. I'm asking you the question. Why did your people leave the neighborhood? The reason I asked the question was because a lot of times we hear the issue about white flight, and it hasn't come up in this audience yet. In other words, there was a movement before the current movement. There was a change before this change. We haven't really brought that up, and I don't want to steer the conversation that way, but that was the factor, or a factor, that I remember moving into that neighborhood when I came in, because we were the second black family on the street. And when the little neighborhood boy went in the house and told my mother that he had to move because the niggers was moving in, right, we started looking for a realtor. No. It hit us that a change was going on. And that was a change before the change. And I just wanted to kind of interject that, which I probably had no business doing. You're next.
You moved back into the community that you had lived in before. When you came back in, it wasn't your community anymore. You were the intruder, just like the niggas that moved into your neighborhood. You were the intruder. So don't expect anybody to come and shake your hand, pat you on the back, and tell you how good it was of you to come in and move into our neighborhood and make it a better neighborhood for everybody. Because when we move out to your neighborhoods, we don't get that. What we get... Wait a minute. I'm not done. I'm not saying that this is right.
Right.
I'm saying that's the way it is.
Right.
Now, what you have done in reaching out to your neighbors is a good thing. And maybe you've made friends in that neighborhood. Maybe your neighbors respect you. But don't think that you were welcomed into that neighborhood for coming in. Because when you come in, it signals change. I have seen the gentrification of neighborhoods. I don't live in Columbus. I was born here, but I don't live here. I live down south in southern Ohio. And I've seen the gentrification in neighborhoods in Cincinnati. And what happens typically in those neighborhoods is that whites come in. They buy houses for next to nothing. They get the loans that are available to them. They get the grants that are available to them, which were primarily put there for the people that live there to rehabilitate the houses that they were born in, that they were raised in, that they grew up in, but they don't know about. The gentrification comes, and within a period of time, it does not become a diverse neighborhood. It becomes a white, yuppie neighborhood.